Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us here. It is Sunday morning, 8 o'clock, bright and early here, January 22nd, and we are live here for the Minnesota Real Estate Show every morning on Love FM 105 FM. Again, from 8 to 9 FM. The show is hosted by Mike Overson of Illuminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering, and myself, Ryan O'Neill of the Minnesota Real Estate Team, Remax Advantage Plus. Excited to be here. Excited to be on the FM dial as well. We're here for your questions, your comments, your thoughts. It is a new year. We're on a new station. And again, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., questions, comments, thoughts, please don't hesitate to join us. You can also call or text us at 612-294-6949. Mike and Scott, good morning, guys. Should be a great show. Morning.
Yeah, good to be here. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Lot going on here today. A lot to talk about.
It is like Ryan said. Appreciate you tuning in, and we are live and local here in Minneapolis till 9 o'clock. And the dial is 105.1, 105.3 if you're in the north, and 105.7 if you're in the western suburbs. Or again, if you're catching us on Facebook, which you obviously are, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us through the whole show. Text us there, call us there, and we will handle your questions as they come in.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Thanks for the comments coming in. One thing too, wherever on social media you might be catching us, we use a system called Restream. So sometimes we can see your name on there, sometimes we can't, depending upon if you've downloaded the app. But we are getting ready to go live on air again. It's Love 105 FM. Should be a fun show. We've also got Steve Stalock in studio with us, Corey Schmiedberg with Midwest Money Management. Mike, you ready for Sunday morning here?
I'm ready.
Okay, that'll be good. Here we go. We're getting ready to go live on air on Love 105 FM. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us anytime throughout the show. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Saturday morning, January 22nd, and we are live here at Love FM every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We're here to talk real estate, mortgage, all things happening in the Twin Cities, in Minnesota, Western Wisconsin. The Minnesota Real Estate Show is hosted by Mike Overson with Illuminate Home Loans. And again, my name is Ryan O'Neill, and also Scott Wolmering of the Minnesota Real Estate Team, Remax Advantage Plus. Long-time show. We're excited to be here on the FM dial. You're welcome to join us anytime throughout the show. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us by phone or by text, or anywhere on social media as well. We're streaming on all the different platforms. Good morning, Mike and Scott. Good to see you guys.
Yeah,
Morning, Ryan.
Good to be here. Like Ryan said, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We are new on 105, but we are not new to doing the show. About 18 years we've done it in the Twin Cities here. It is an interactive show, so we love your questions, your comments. 612-294-6949. You can text us at that number. You can call us at that number. Obviously, if you're following us on social media, you can just type your questions in, and we'll handle those as they come. We also like to kind of send out a little fun question every week that's not real estate related, just to kind of get people's thoughts on different deals. So this week it is, who is your celebrity crush?
Oh boy.
Who is your celebrity crush?
Well, very good. Very good. And before we dive into that, again, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us by phone or text here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. First segment of the show, we always do like to dive in to talk a little bit from a real estate standpoint, a mortgage standpoint to give you an update what's happening here in the Twin Cities area. Again, Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans. Mike, always a pleasure. Great to see you there, young man. What's cooking in the mortgage world?
Well, we're nearing the end of January here, and we're just another step to the crazy spring that we're all expecting to come up here. Rates, I think, are going to help us out with that a little bit. Stayed pretty flat this week compared to last week, but I do see them just slowly trickling down here between now and March, and we're expecting a very busy spring market here. Once the Super Bowl hits, usually the floodgates open up and we go. So we're sitting around the low sixes still right now. Once we get into March, I think mid to high fives is something that we can probably expect. And I think that's those rates are probably going to hold through the summer.
Do you think, Mike, have you seen any uptick at all yet, or is it still pretty sluggish? I mean, just slow from a mortgage standpoint.
So I look at applications. Applications that come in today is those are real estate deals 60 days from today. You look at the last few weeks. If I look at November, December, so really slow times for pretty much everyone in the industry. I was taking anywhere between, let's say, 4 and 7 applications a week, roughly. If I look at the last 2 weeks, I had 14 applications 2 weeks ago. I had 12 last week. Yeah. So that it's starting, right? Those applications again today that we're taking are turning into deals. Those closings are going to be late February, March, and April. So that's why we're expecting a busy spring, because we have seen applications tick up pretty heavily.
Yeah, and that's always an indication. Obviously, they go to you first before they go to us. They get qualified, so they're ready to go. But we're going to go through the real estate numbers here in a minute. And for those that haven't caught the show, and maybe this is the first time, maybe just give a little snapshot of kind of what's happened in the last year or so. If you go back to the spring of last year, so let's call it January through the end of May, it was probably the most aggressive market we had ever had. Interest rates were at 2.8%. Most of the offers on houses were going, 15 offers, 25 offers. I had one with 45 offers that went 125,000 over list price. So that was last spring. Rates were at 2.8%. People were buying a payment more than they were an actual value of a home. Fast forward to about mid-year, end of June, July, and rates doubled. We went into we got as high as 7.5. And so everybody put the brakes on. I mean, obviously, if you're in the market and you're buying $1 million house, and that's what you qualified for, literally in 90 days, you qualified for a $500,000 house. So there's a lot of shock that goes a lot with that.
And that is
go ahead, Ryan.
That as well, Scott. I mean, obviously very unusual, kind of a historic change. And, for as long as we've been doing this business, we have not seen that, obviously, that type of thing happen within a year. So that caused a lot of unrest, a lot of within the industry, obviously for buyers and sellers, for people in the industry, agents, mortgage professionals, really everybody. It was like, what is going on? The world got flipped upside down.
That's right. And so everybody went through that shock, and now it's settled back in. So the good thing about this spring, like Mike said, we're going to be back into the fives, 5.5, 5.75, et cetera. But prices have readjusted. And so you're buying now at what a home is actually worth. Your payment actually, because of the adjustment in pricing, isn't actually much higher, if it's even higher. So it's a very, very good time to sell still, one of the best markets we've ever seen, and a great time to buy.
Yeah, let's touch again before our first break here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Appreciate you joining us. Good Sunday morning to everyone. Again, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us by phone or text with questions or comments. We're live here at the Love 105 FM studio. New listings this week here did decrease year over year. So there were 5.3% less new properties that came on the market, 808. Pending sales or accepted purchase agreements in the Twin Cities down almost 31%, 386 pending sales. So again, a very large decrease year over year. Inventory is slowly increasing. It's up 18.4% year over year, almost 6,000 homes for sale in the Twin Cities. And this, guys, is really similar to what we've been talking about. Again, the last number of months, it has been considerably slower with deals getting accepted. with offers coming in. But again, inventory wise, the interesting thing about it is there's still just not a lot of inventory. So you see a lot of agents sending out notes saying, hey, I have a buyer in this area and price range. I don't have anything to buy right now.
Yeah, I mean 6,000 homes. We were at 7,000 last week, and so we're going through that kind of thinning the herd process that we do every year around this time. I think as low as we got last year was 4,500 coming into the spring market. And just for folks that don't understand, 18,000 homes is a balanced market, equal amount of buyers, equal amount of sellers. So 6,000 homes is not much out there. Again, incredible time to sell your property. Are we going to see what we did last year when rates were at 2.8%? Are you going to get 45 offers on your house? Probably not. Are you going to, if you're priced correctly and marketed correctly, get 5 to 10? Probably. I mean, that's what we're moving into.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. And again, want to give a special shout out. My dear father, this is Dad's birthday.
Oh my gosh.
So Dad, it's been a number of years since Dad passed away, but the big birthday, born in 1935. And so Mom sent out a nice text to the whole family here this morning. So thinking of Dad, happy birthday to Dad here today. And Mike, again, what else is cooking mortgage wise? Anything from your standpoint?
Well, so it's, we'll see new listings and more listings come on, but we do have pent up demand. We do have a bunch of pre-approved buyers on there that are sitting on the sidelines. As we get more listings coming on, they're going to get gobbled up right away. You know what I mean? So it's not like we're going to have this huge glut of inventory that comes out there. Yeah, we're going to see increased listings week after week here, typically after the Super Bowl starts or ends. But they are going to get gobbled up right away.
Yeah, they are.
And buyers today. So if you're a buyer today, especially a first-time home buyer, you don't know what a 3% interest rate does for you, or you never experienced that. So this is the norm. This is the norm that they know. Rates at 5.5% to 6%. That's it is what it is. So they don't have any sort of hesitation, or experience to fall back on and say, "Oh, interest rates are so high." Well, they're not. And like I said, they've never seen rates down in the threes like we saw.
Mike had a question come in by text message. And again, you can call us or text us 612-294-6949. Kim had texted in, as a conventional buyer, how much money does my family need to buy conventionally?
So on a conventional loan, the minimum down you can do is 3%. So 3% down on a conventional loan. You have to be a first-time home buyer in order to do 3% down, or you have to be underneath a certain income limit. So even if you're a second-time buyer, a third-time buyer, if you're underneath that income limit, you can still do 3% down. Or if you're a first-time home buyer at any income limit, you can do 3% down.
Well, that's great. This is off subject, but when you were going through your dad's birthday, it just reminded me of a Friday night. So Friday night, Ryan threw a huge party for all the agents on the team, which he does every year. It's kind of an awards banquet, so everybody gets awards. And so I took a date there. I took my ex-wife there, and the whole ride home. You need to be more like Ryan. Ryan is so sweet. Why can't you be more like Ryan? See how he cares about everybody? I'm like, gosh, give me a break. Be more like Ryan.
Oh,
that was a conversation with so many women going on that night.
Yes.
No, you know what, Scott, though? Scott's dear ex-wife, Jen. And what I love about it, you guys are good buddies. She's a wonderful person. Jen was actually an agent on the team.
She was. When we first met, I said, why don't you go on Ryan's team?
Jen was an agent, and actually outstanding agent. But it was a fun party. No, thank you, Scott. It was a fun party. Every year, the Minnesota real estate team, all of our radio partners, like the folks in studio here today, Mike, Steve, Corey, all of our partners are invited. All of our agents. We do an annual gala. This year, I think it was probably a record turnout. It was super fun. I think kind of with the COVID, and now as we're exiting out, people want to get out a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe just turnout wise, Mike. It was a great turnout.
It was. There's a lot of people there. And Scott, how many people, how many guys went home that night saying, I'm never going to that thing again because I keep getting the conversation of I got to be more like Ryan.
I got to be more like Ryan. Oh no, it was the whole time he was talking because he's talking. Of course, it's just ooh and goo and love and
Love FM.
love FM and caring. And I'm just sitting there going, I'm just going to be a miserable ride home.
Oh man! And on that note, I think it's time for our first break here. Again, this is a newer show. I know you, all of our Love FM listeners, may be wondering what's going on here Sunday morning. Every Sunday, we're going to be here from 8 to 9, the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We talk real estate, mortgage, try to have a little fun. Welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. 612-294-6949. We'll be back after the break. Thanks for joining us on social media. Scott, it looks like, what was your comment before what we look like here this morning? All sitting here?
Like we're sitting at a bar.
We're all together here. Corey on the end. We got Steve Stalock, Scott, and of course, Mike. Mike there. Steve, what do you think of the new setup here?
It's cozy.
It is cozy.
Yeah. Don't have much more to say other than
Anything else to
it's
add,
awfully cozy.
Corey, what do you think there, buddy?
I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It's fun to be on FM. We're excited to be here on Love FM. And Mike, you had you had a lot of your folks there on Friday night too.
Yeah, we had a good turnout there. Hudson and his wife and Mark and Cam were there. And yeah.
Talk
good
about your
time.
team a little bit.
So my team, my team is located in Savage. So we run there out of Savage. The nice thing about our team is everything is literally done right there in Savage. The only thing that's not done there is underwriting, but that's done in our Minneapolis office. So it's nice because we're small enough and everything is literally right there. You need something done, you walk down to the next door and you get it done, So love my team. They've been with me for a long time. Kaylee, my assistant, she's been with me for 12 years now. Our processor, she's been with us for 8 years now. Combined in the business, I mean, I don't even want to think how many years we got, as far as combined years in the industry here. So love my team. They're the ones that make all the magic happen.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Again, Steve Stalock, Win Home Inspection, has been a longtime partner with the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Steve, what's new in your world?
You guys were talking about the spring market getting started. This week, for me, the floodgates kind of opened. So just, I'm a sample size of one, but I have gotten real busy. I'm almost booked for this week.
Wow.
This is January. This normally 22 years in the business. This is the first year it started this early.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a run.
Oh,
I mean,
geez, yeah.
6,000 homes. And I mean, if we continue to drop, let's say we're at, low 5,000s before February starts. I mean, it's going to be another run like last year.
Yeah.
How many homes do you guys anticipate coming on the market in the spring?
I think we're going to see similar to last year. I think every week as we do the numbers, I think we're going to see anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 new listings coming on. I think we're going to see pendings at about 89%. And so, basically they roll in the market and they're off the market. They roll in the market and they're off the market. I think we're going to see that.
It can't get too hot though.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
I like being busy.
Well, man, I'd like to keep prices kind of
Yeah.
slowly going up.
Keep
Yeah.
it sane.
Yeah, here we go. We're going back live
Keep it safe.
live on Love FM.
Last year was not.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show here on Love FM. Good Sunday morning to you, January 22nd, 2023. We're into a new year, and we were just talking with Steve Stalock, Win Home Inspection, one of our longtime partners on the Minnesota Real Estate Show, about how busy he is already in the market. Before we continue the conversation with Steve, had a text message question come in that says, can you speak, guys, a little bit about the up north cabin market area? Seems to me that lakefront property is still hot, and inventory there too has dropped. No inventory there.
Yeah, it's that's my neck of the woods. I grew up in Bemidji and had some lake homes on the Whitefish chain for years, and Bottom line is there's no market that's not hit. You know, like when the market crashed in '07, everything got hit. Lake Homes did as well. But the bottom line is you're not making any more lakeshore. You're not producing any more of it. And so it's like it's one of those protected areas that, you know, the market crashed, I think, at like 42%. And I think Lake Homes up north were hit by like 24%, which is still a big loss, but nothing like we had here. So they've come back hard. They've come back fast. There's been a little bit of a lull, Ryan, just with the financial crisis or fear that we've had over the last year. There's been a little bit of a step back on Lake Home purchases, but not much.
Yeah, well, and I think, sorry,
Well, I
Mike.
was gonna say that this time of year too, as far as listing a lake home, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but listing a lake home this time of the year typically is not what you want to do, because part of the appeal of a lake home is the water, right? And the beach you have there and all that stuff, all the stuff that's covered by snow right now.
Unless you have a crappy beach and crappy lakeshore.
Then you want to list
Then
it
you want
right
to list
now.
it right now.
Yeah.
Well, and again, to Scott's point, again, I think we're just historically low levels of inventory. And so, yeah, I mean, to Scott's point, there's just not a lot out there. And with, again, amidst COVID, people, if they weren't able to travel to different places, they're saying, hey, why don't we do the cabin thing? Why don't we head up north? Why don't we do that? So there's a lot of that still going on, as well as people from around the country, guys, that love coming to Minnesota to spend a week here, to go up north, to do the VRBO thing.
Yeah.
I have friends, family members who VRBO properties. And so from a cabin standpoint, it is a hot market. It's a tight market, just not a lot there at all.
It is. And one caution I would give people, a lot of times cabins are purchased with family members, friends, because the thought is, hey, if we all go in on this, you know, we can use it this amount of time, et cetera, which is great. And the only reason I bring this up is this is a question I get at least multiple times a year where, hey, Scott, we bought a cabin with my cousin Joe and my brother Jim, and now I want out, or Jim wants out, and they have nothing in writing. It was just kind of a handshake agreement. We've got a great attorney. That's one of our preferred partners, Matt Engel. If you are thinking about doing that, trust me when I say you've saved yourself a ton of headaches if you just lay it out up front.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us. We're live every weekend here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We are on FM, on Love FM. Excited to be here with the great folks here at Love FM and Cumulus. Steve Stalock, Win Home Inspection, again, a longtime partner. Steve was just saying a little bit off air how the inspection business, you're starting to get busy already, unusually busy for January.
Yeah, spring markets typically, well, when I first started over 20 years ago, it was early March. That's when the spring market took off. And over the years, it slowly creeped up. And this year, I would say, based on my phone ringing, it started. I am almost booked for the coming week. So as the temperatures plummet and our houses have ice dams, things are heating up.
Yeah, Franklin had texted and asked about ice dams. Got a major issue with my home and ice dams. Can you guys help me? Steve, what's going on there?
Well, yeah, that could take up a whole show. But basically, any house that's, say, older than 10, 15 years old isn't sealed up as well as new construction. What you're having is heat and air move from the conditioned living spaces up into your attic. It warms up the attic space, melts the snow, and that's the beginning of the ice dams. So solution is insulate and seal.
So not an easy solution.
No, that's what you take care of in the summertime. Right now, if you've got the ice dams, let's say you have a house built like in 1910 and you got large ice dams, they should get steamed off if they're a problem, if you're getting water into the house. Low pressure steam removes the ice, and then remove any snow that's causing more fuel to the fire. And in the summertime, get up in that attic and get things sealed up and insulated.
Yeah, you see it a lot, Steve, around South Minneapolis, Ridgefield,
Yep.
where homes are in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. Besides that, who's your celebrity crush? We haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah, I thought about that, and it's like, I got nothing for you. I'm really sorry to disappoint you. but
You do not have one celebrity crush.
I'm just not someone who Googles celebrities.
Well, I'm not saying, I'm talking about, okay, whatever.
Sorry.
Everybody's got one celebrity crush.
Steve's like, let's
I got
get back to
nothing.
ice dams.
I got nothing. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Maybe I'm too old.
Steve, do you though actually, when you think about this time of year, again, for existing homeowners, obviously people in the market looking to buy, they can get a home inspection with someone like Steve, his company that protects you as the buyer when you're buying the property to know what you're buying, or as a seller, you can get kind of a look at your home prior to going on the market. The question though, Steve, is for all existing homeowners, any things that people should this time of year really be doing, be aware of, be working on?
Well, first of all, you categorize people that might need my services as sellers or buyers. I would say homeowners, even if you've been in your home 2-3 years and things are happening, there's not much you really know about your house. I'd be a good fit to come in and discover those things. Why am I getting ice dams? Can you help locate that? Those are the kind of things I can do. And even as a homeowner, to get an inspection to learn about it is a good idea. I'm promoting a service called a home maintenance inspection. And that's just for your regular run-of-the-mill homeowners who need to learn about their house.
Tell me about that. Cost? How does that work? What's the deal with it?
Well, cost-wise, as I'm launching the program, I'm also kind
No,
of,
we're going to hold you to
this
this.
isn't
Whatever,
kinda
whatever
like
price
real
you say,
time.
you're getting held
Yeah.
to right now.
so it'll be slightly less than
Than a home
the
inspection.
traditional one. There may be some things I don't do, like I'm not going to be testing appliances or whatever. So if it shortens my amount of time in the home, so rather than a full-blown 3.5 4 hour inspection, if I'm there 3, I'll price accordingly, and those details are still being sorted out. But in essence, it's the same as a full home inspection. You're going to learn over the years. We've talked about this, where seller or buyers get real suspicious. They say, "Oh, the seller knows that," and they're covering that up. And it's like, no, we know for a fact that there's a lot of things that sellers do not know. They are not up in their own attics. They just don't know things. If they knew about it, they'd fix it. So as a homeowner, that is my message to you. It's like, do you really know what's going on in your own house? Do you know how your own house works? I inspect a lot of times for people who've owned 3-4 houses. They're buying brand new construction built in 2022. And there's a lot of new interesting things, and people don't know. What's that big box in the ceiling? What's that do?
Yeah.
People don't know.
Yeah, Scott had a question come in. Ted had just texted and said, what is the average days on market here in the Twin Cities right now? If you can believe, it's at 40 days right now. 40 days is average days on market. That's up a third, or 33%, from a year at this time. So 40 days. Interesting. You would think that's for a lot of people, that number may sound scary, but it's slowly but surely things are taking a little bit longer. It's becoming a little bit more normal here in the Twin Cities. That's okay, right?
Well, it is. And the majority of time on market isn't because the houses aren't marketable and there's not enough buyers out there to eat up the inventory, et cetera. The problem in the market right now is people are still chasing an old price. If I came to you and said, okay, your neighbor's house last March sold for $400,000, and you're the same split level, and now you're 375 or you're 350. As a homeowner, that's not going to make sense to you. You're not going to like that. Hey, why? How come they sold it for $50,000 more than me a year ago? Because there has been a reset. And so the majority of time on market right now are those sellers learning that they're going to try to get that 400 number. It's not going to happen. They're going to reduce until eventually they get at what the market value is. And then it goes very quickly. It's a very fast market.
Yeah, it is. And again, this spring market, if you're a buyer out there, very important. Had a conversation with an agent on the Minnesota real estate team this week about, they said, well, hey, we're approved. We're ready to go. We don't need to talk to a lender. We just want to start looking at houses. Super important to talk to, again, sit down with Mike, get get pre-approved, get the approval letter, because if you want to make an offer, you need that letter. And especially, the other question too is about a cash buyer. And whether you're working with a financial planner or a company like Corey Schmiedeberg, Midwest Money Management, you've got to have that letter as well. If you have liquid funds that you're using to buy the property, you need to have a vetted letter that's saying where the money's coming from, Mike.
Yeah, it's sellers don't want to waste their time on a showing and stuff like that. If you truly can't perform, if you're going to make an offer that you can't, you can actually execute on that offer you're going to make. So they're going to be looking for that. Listing agents are going to run that, and they're very smart and savvy, and that's something that's required.
Since he initiated the discussion, Jay, I think we should ask Scott, Mr. Wolmering, who's your celebrity crush there, young man?
Oh, it's easy. It's simple. It's Selma Hayek.
Selma, okay.
Selma Hayek. And for any of you younger people that don't know who she is, you can Google her. But that's it, Selma Hayek.
Well, very nice, Jay. What do you think of this guy? It's been a couple weeks on there. Are you kind of thinking I'm a little unsure about this, Mr. Wolmering?
Oh no, I like it. I think it's great. I want to ask you though, how old were you when you acquired your crush for Selma Hayek?
Yeah,
I was in my probably late 20s, and she did a movie with Clooney.
George Clooney.
And it was just a horrible. It was called From Dusk Till Dawn. Do you remember that?
I know the movie
Yeah,
exactly.
and she was a dancer at this biker bar. And by that point, the movie was actually good. It was what's that movie you went to, Ryan, that I always make fun of?
Great Gatsby.
It's no Great Gatsby, but it was good. And so it was just a normal movie. Quentin Tarantino wrote it, and they get to this biker bar, and all of a sudden, all the dancers and all the bikers turn into vampires.
Oh, super.
I was like,
really a solid
you
movie.
got to be kidding me.
Yeah, Scott does really like The Great Gatsby, by the way.
Oh.
If you ever just want to see some nice, kind of a reprise of that, maybe a couple shows, we'll talk more about The Gatsby there, Mike.
Yeah, that's it's Scott's favorite movie.
Oh, it's the
Of all
worst.
time.
It's-
Of all
it-
time.
It is the worst movie of all time.
Had a question come in from Heather. Heather joining us on LinkedIn. Thanks, Heather. Just said, love the show. Wondering if the show will be available as a podcast on Spotify again. I love listening to your show as I'm working. So hoping you get the podcast going in. Absolutely. Our kind friends here at 105 FM, love 105 FM. In Cumulus, we are in the process of getting all the podcasts updated wherever you might like to catch us. Again, whether it is directly on Love, whether it is on Spotify, we absolutely will be doing that. We're in process of that. But thanks for listening to the show. Heather joining us on LinkedIn. Mike, you're a LinkedIn guy, aren't you?
I don't spend a whole lot of time on LinkedIn. Am I on LinkedIn? Yes. It's kind of like MySpace.
Yeah.
I'm there, but I don't spend a lot of time
That's
on
right. Do they still have MySpace?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
They
I
don't,
think
do
so,
they?
no.
Hey, I did want to invite into the discussion at this time, and there's a little bit of a disclaimer that required that I'll read for him. For Mr. Corey Schmiedeberg. Corey Schmiedeberg is a financial services specialist and an accredited investment fiduciary and the vice president of Midwest Money Management, located at 17316 Kenyon Avenue in Lakeville, Minnesota. Securities offered through Parkland Securities LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Fee-based investment advisory services offered through Sigma Planning Corporation, a registered investment advisor. Midwest Money Management is independent of Parkland Securities LLC and SPC. Good morning to you there, Corey. How are you?
Good morning. And now we get to introduce our new FM audience to the joke of that's the end of my segment.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all you get. It was really nice to have Corey on, but now after his disclaimer, it's just a pleasure. It's just a pleasure. But we do love having you on because, hey, let's face it, this time of year is kind of, it's tax season. It's, you get a lot of, for existing homeowners, the mortgage interest you're paying on your mortgage. You get a statement with the mortgage interest deduction. You're getting different kinds of statements in the mail. You need a guy like Corey or a gal, a lot of great females at your office too, but Talk about what's cooking.
Yeah, it's almost like you read my mind, Ryan. That's exactly what I wanted to talk about today. You know, we are at there's always the scramble year end. There's year end planning that you need to do, and now that year end is over, we're kind of in tax planning season. So there are certain things that needed to be done by the end of the year, but now we have 3 months or so to prepare for the tax time. So there's a few things that people should be aware of. So the first thing is that you're going to be getting your W-2s, your 1099s, all those tax documents here. A lot of stuff comes out the end of January. But there are also tax documents that if you're new to a certain type of investment or may slip your mind, that are not due until the middle of February and even later than that. So it's important to, if you have an advisor, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, to make sure you got all your ducks in a row and all your tax forms so you don't run into problems or need to amend your taxes later in the year because some form showed up.
And you've got a big event coming up as well. You got to talk about that and who's invited and what's involved with that.
Yeah. So January 31st, we have our big forecast event. It's our largest event. We do it every year. This is actually a special year. This is our 15th year of doing this event. It's going to be at Crystal Lake Golf Course in Lakeville. I will extend a invitation to our new radio listeners on Love 105. If you're interested, this is not a sales seminar, it's a capital markets update. We're going to talk about what happened in 22 and what the experts are saying for 23. If you're interested, send our team an email at team@Midwest Money Management or give our office a call at 651-204-3000. Our president and founder, Adam Hartung, will be doing a presentation. And because it's our 15th anniversary, we also have something really cool and special prepared for this event.
Yeah, and for people that haven't caught it before, this is not a real estate seminar. You are a money manager, so it's stocks, bonds, a little bit of real estate mixed in there with what's going on in the market, but it's not real estate related.
Yeah, that's the fun thing about working with the Minnesota real estate team and our firm. We are a comprehensive planning firm. So we're not just a brokerage, picking stocks and that sort of stuff for people. We do that, but we do comprehensive cradle to grave planning for people. So if it's strategizing for retirement, college planning, tax planning, you name it, we take a very comprehensive approach to working with our clients.
And part of the reason why, again, you may be catching this show for the first time here on Love FM, you may wonder, well, this is a real estate show. Why would you have a financial person like this on? One thing we've noticed over the years, 15 plus years of doing the Minnesota Real Estate Show, is again, wherever you may be at in the home buying or home selling process. Maybe you do have money and you're looking to purchase a home. Maybe your credit is not great and you don't have funds to purchase. Maybe you have any type of financial question. It's really important to have a trusted person that is not salesy, that isn't going to sell you a bunch of products and a bunch of stuff, that can help you through the process. And Corey, that's why we love working with your team, is you guys work with people, kind of all backgrounds, and one of the great things, you're advising.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the last 15 or 20 years, and you guys can attest to this, how much the housing market has changed in so many different times. You had the economic collapse of 07, 08. We had the massive bull market, the run up, the continued decline in mortgage interest rates, and now we have interest rates going back up. I mean, you going and buying a house or doing anything, it requires work. It requires a team of people to help you make the right decision, because buying a home is going to be the biggest thing that you're probably going to purchase. Or you talked about buying a lake cabin. Buying a lake cabin can sometimes be romanticized or fantasized. It's like, I'm going to buy this cabin, it's going to be great, I'm going to get my brother and sister, we're going to do this, and you really need to make sure that your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, to make sure that it's the right thing.
Scott, we'll continue the discussion here, Mike, with Corey Schmiedeberg, Midwest Money Management. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Again, we're here every weekend, Sunday morning, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. A live show, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us by phone or text. We'll be back after the break. Thanks for joining us on social media. A lot of good stuff coming in. Corey, we can see you there at the end. You look great down there. Any other thoughts for people here as we enter the new year? Did I stump him?
Yeah. Just go ahead.
I got it. So there are some things that you can do this time of year that you can actually apply, right?
Yes.
To the prior year.
Correct.
So some of those things might be, bumping up what you could, can you bump into, what can you put funds into today that you can actually take advantage of
Yeah.
in the 2022 year?
For sure. So the biggest one, absolute no brainer, is a health savings account. If you have a high deductible health plan, and this again comes back to having an advisor. 90% of the people don't know what a health savings account is, what they have for benefits through work. But health savings account, you can contribute the money to it and get a tax deduction, and then it's tax free coming out. So it's the only investment vehicle that you get a tax deduction and tax free coming out. You can still fund your IRAs, Roth IRAs for the prior year. If you're self-employed or you have a SEP IRA, you can fund your SEP IRA up until tax filing. You can actually go all the way till October if you file an extension. So talk to your tax preparer. That can be a good deduction for you. Those are just a few of the things that you can.
Can you go over a few more?
Yeah.
But no, it is important. And, for people listening,
Poor Corey.
my daughter Savannah, who's 25, she just called you guys to get set up. I mean, it's that young when you should start.
Oh yeah.
I mean, my God.
The other
Well,
thing
you
too,
started when you were like 16.
Oh God.
I mean, it was
My-
very
my,
organized.
My fortune was set by the time I
Financially.
was out of high school.
You had been cutting a lot of lawns,
Yes.
doing a lot of snow shoveling, and
the
talk to
other
your
thing
financial planner.
that inflation has done is it's increased contribution limits to all of these accounts, which doesn't always happen, but they've all increased substantially for 2023. So if you're not aware of it and all this stuff is just set on automatic, you might have to actually go in and update your contributions.
Sure.
So all the accounts that I've talked about have increased their limits.
Yeah, again, hey, we're getting ready to go back on Love FM. Appreciate you joining us on social media. It's a new show, new station, I should say. We're excited to be back with you here. But thanks again for joining us. Hey, welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show on Love FM. I'm excited to be on the FM dial every Sunday morning, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Welcome your questions, comments, thoughts, 612-294-6949. Had a text message come in from Kenneth. Kenneth had asked, he said, question for your home inspector. What differentiates you from any other home inspector in the Twin Cities? Good question, Kenneth.
Well, aside from my really stunning good looks, I really emphasize education. I encourage, if the home buyer wants to attend, they're welcome to be there at the beginning of the inspection, middle, and I really try to teach what's going on in the house, not just what might be wrong,
Sure.
but how the house works, so that essentially the day they close and they get the keys, they really understand the house and they know how things work.
Steve,
So-
before we forget, too, best way for people to be able to reach you, to contact you, to work with you.
Everyone's got a paper and a pen handy, so my phone number is 952-891-4455. But by far the easiest way is to go to the radio show website and then realestateshow.com. Really set up nicely. You got the preferred partners. Click on that and go down to home inspections and look for that handsome bald guy. That's me.
Yeah, grateful for you, Steve Stalock, Windhome Inspection. Does an awesome job. Fellow agents, brokers, maybe watching, listening as well. Steve does an awesome job. We couldn't recommend him more. Scott, we do have a featured listing this week. Fong Kao has a great one up in Blaine, 9141 Alamo Street Northeast for $395,000. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath, 3-car attached garage, 3-level split home. It's built in 2000. Fong says it's very well maintained. It's a quiet neighborhood. It's got newer flooring in 2021, a 4-season porch added in the early 2000s. Again, 9141 Alamo Street Northeast, Blaine for $395,000, 4-bed, 2-bath, 3-car garage up north there, Scott. It's
Very
a nice home indeed.
Very nice. Fong is a great agent.
Yeah, he is. He is a great agent, and we've been having the discussion here, guys, with Corey again. Corey Schmiederberg, Midwest Money Management. Corey, you've got your big event coming up again, and you're talking about a lot of the things people should be aware of beginning of the year here as well.
Yeah. Before I go back to that, I want to share my celebrity crush.
Yes.
if I can.
Oh.
Yes.
So this Scott would be familiar with this lady. She's from the 20s and 30s.
God, that's so what a horrible segue that was.
Oh man.
No, it's Irene Dunn is the lady, and this is a funny story. My wife and I were first married, and we were on one of our first vacations together, and this elderly couple told my wife that she looked like Irene Dunn, and we were both perplexed as to who this was, but it was an actress from the 20s and 30s. So it's been a long running joke between my wife and I that Irene Dunn is my celebrity crush.
Irene Dunn.
I just pulled her up.
Irene Dunn, indeed. That's a
Very pretty.
yeah, very cool, Corey. What do you think as we move forward?
Well,
into
wait
the
a
new
minute.
year?
What about your crush? You do this every show. The show will end, and they'll be like, "Oh, everybody gave their question except for me. I'll catch you next week."
You know what?
What's your celebrity crush?
I have to tell you, I'm like Steve Stalock. There's just no. I'm not like. There's nothing hot burning on my tongue that wow, this is I watched Top Gun and absolutely.
Well, everybody's in love with Tom Cruise, but I'm talking about your actual. Everybody's got a celebrity crush.
Mike, do you have one?
Why are you pushing it on to me?
I'm good. I'm a deflector.
Okay. I would say, I mean, I don't know where to start. I got several. I'm going to say Kate Beckinsale.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do you want me to talk about the year ahead?
Ryan's like, sorry.
So not to. So what I would tell people is, I would encourage you to come to our client event. That's what we're gonna spend the majority of the time talking about. But as we've prepared for the event and for 2023. Typically, when we prepare for this, we look at all the economists and the smartest minds out there, and there's varying degrees of the market's going to be up, the market's going to be down. This is what's going to happen. And one of the fun things is that we look at what they're predicting and what actually happened. And most of the time they're wrong, because nobody can predict the future. What's interesting is this time, overwhelmingly, the consensus is that this year is going to have some rockiness to it. But from a stock market standpoint, everybody is pretty much predicting the same thing. And that is that the market will rise a little bit here to begin the year as the recession digs in. And what I mean now is with layoffs. We're starting to see layoffs with all of the big tech companies, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, all these places are laying off tens of thousands of people. There's a feeling that the market will have a drawback mid-year, and then will work its way back. And at the end of the year, people are predicting that we'll be back to where we are right now. So the prediction by the experts is that this year will be pretty much a flat year, but there will be some tumultuous market activity in the middle of the year.
Best way for people to connect with you guys, Midwest Money Management.
Yeah, so you can go to mnrealestateshow.com. You can go to email us at team@midwestmoneymanagement.com, or you can call our office at 651-204-3000.
Yeah, Corey, nice job there, buddy.
Thanks for having us.
Nice work indeed, Scott.
So I was listening to what you were saying. So the market is going to go. It's going to be volatile. Ryan loves that word, volatile. And then it's going to dip down. Then it's going to come back. So what do you do with your money then right now? Do you put it in the market or do you keep it in cash?
Great question. So we are a tactical money manager. And just to give you some perspective, so what tactical means is that we don't just buy stocks or just buy bonds and let it ride. We use cash as an investment strategy, and why that's important. So I'll try to do this quickly. But last year was the first year in over 100 years that both stocks and bonds were down double digits, and that's directly due to inflation and rising interest rates. So great question. So when people invest with us, we use stocks and bonds, but there are times during the year where we'll move to cash and just sit in cash. So the reason you don't want to just sit on the sidelines. This year, the first 3 weeks of the year, the stock market's up almost 4%. So if you're just sitting in cash in anticipation of something happening, it may not happen. This is just a theoretical prediction that economists that we follow are talking. So we have a disciplined strategy to use stocks and bonds, and when the markets get volatile, we will move to cash as an investment strategy temporarily.
Yeah, had a good question come in again. Another financing question. Kim had messaged into us from a VA buyer. Can you guys talk a little bit about VA financing? How can I access my VA benefit?
I love VA loans. I think it's the best loan program out there. 0 down, no mortgage insurance. Interest rates are typically a little bit under what a conventional interest rate is going to be. So if you have access and the eligibility to do a VA home loan, by all means, 99% of the time, that's going to be the best thing for you. So you can reach out to us. If you are a vet or were previously a vet and you're unsure if you're eligible, you can reach out to us and we can grab a couple things from you and we can check on that for you and let you know if you're eligible or not. And then at that point, we can show you what that means for you and how much you can borrow on a VA loan and so forth.
Yeah, and if you are a VA buyer or so VA is a 0 down loan, they don't have to be, most of them are, or an FHA buyer or a minimum down conventional buyer, and you haven't caught the show before, Mike and Ryan and I have been talking about this for the last few months. You've got a window here where you can purchase, and we're still in it. Probably another 3 weeks to maybe 4 weeks before the spring market really evolves completely. And you might say, well, what difference does it make? Why can't I buy a house, 2 months from now? If you are a 0 down buyer, a VA or an FHA buyer or a minimum down conventional buyer, when the spring market heats up, and especially homes under $500,000, when you're competing against 10, 15, 20, 25 offers on a home, the pecking order of where the seller and the listing agent are going to look is going to be cash first, then 20% down conventionals, then 10% down conventionals, etc. And so it's very, very hard to compete in a spring market when you are a VA or a FHA or 0 down.
Yeah, I had one other listing to feature Bruce Williams with the Minnesota Real Estate Team Remax Advantage Plus. Scott, he's got one up in Maple Grove, 244.9 on this property, and it is 8983 Sawgrass Glen. It is a 2-bed, 2-bath, 1-car garage townhome. It's in Maple Grove. Again, 244.9, 8983 Sawgrass Glen. 2-bed, 2-bath, 1-car garage townhome in Maple Grove. Check that one out. A nice property. But Scott, you hit the nail on the head with that. And it's probably hard for Mike. It's probably hard for buyers to think about, well, why is timing so important? But you see it with your work as a mortgage professional. Timing's so important when people are looking to buy throughout the year.
Yeah, we see it, especially in the last 3 years. It really came to surface of, hey, if you are an FHA buyer, a VA buyer, and you're buying when you're competing against all those other offers, it is very tough. It is very tough because, sellers and listing agents are going to look at, if things go south, right, and an appraisal comes in low or something like that happens, does that buyer have money to bridge some sort of gap that comes up? If you're going in there with 0 down, they're automatically thinking that you don't have a whole lot of money. So if something does come in or something goes off the tracks a little bit, you really don't have any way to make up some sort of gap. And so that's why it's a little bit tougher there. That's why sellers will take, a bigger down payment type of offer on their house, because there is money and funds there to help bridge some sort of gap.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you that haven't really plugged into the market, just to kind of go back a year ago, we were dealing with waiving home inspections. Steve Stalock was silent. No one was doing home inspections because you couldn't buy a house if you did one. We were doing guaranteed appraisal gaps. So you buy a house for $500,000, you pay $550 for it because it went over. The appraisal comes in at $535. You as the buyer would make up that $15,000 gap for the seller. Waive home inspections. I already said that.
Lots of strong earnest money. So if you're
non-refundable earnest money,
non-refundable,
for any reason, if you back out of the deal, I mean, that's what you're going to be walking into in the spring, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are just a buyer without a home to sell, you still do have a window where you can actually go out and look at the house, and maybe you want to do a second showing, and maybe you want to ask some questions. You can do that now. Fast forward 30 days from now, you're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, it is. It's a different time. It's a great time as a buyer. And the interesting thing, again, if you're selling and buying as well, because there's such limited inventory right now, you can take advantage of the fact that you might be the only certain type of house, townhome, condo in an area, price range, city, neighborhood for the whole city.
Thing. Yes.
So you might be the only one. So you may be thinking, oh, it's a horrible time. Values have come down, etc. The reality of it in our industry, what we live and breathe is I'll see every day an email. I've got a buyer need. I've got a $400,000 buyer looking for this city price range. And so the numbers of agents that are super frustrated because they can't find their buyers anything.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote 18 offers for a first-time home buyer last year. Finally put them on the shelf till August. I just said, look, wait till August. Because we were writing.
Put them on the shelf.
Yeah, because it was getting to the point where, of course, they're frustrated. They want to be excited about their first house. You're writing 50 over, 60 over, and you're not even in the hunt. And so it did slow down. At the end of July, they were able to buy a house. But that's kind of the window we're talking about and have been for the last 3 months. There's a little bit of a lull right now, and that lull is going to go away.
What do you think, Mike?
I think your secret hack is as a buyer there, plug in with the right agent and plug in with the right loan officer. That will help your odds. If you are a VA or FHA buyer out there, that will definitely help your odds by working with someone who's got a good reputation in the local market here, because listing agents know listing agents know loan officers. There's certain loan officers that they love to work with because they know they close on time, and there's certain ones that they don't. So we're just going to see that it's going to be more important as we move through the spring here to really plug yourself in with the right people.
Yeah, I was looking at the buyers I sold when I did my kind of end of year. You look back at your numbers and whatever, and the majority of buyers that I got a house, because they were all multiple offers. The majority of the time, the agent knew me.
Right.
And so
that was that deal in June.
That was the one deal in June. But it is important.
That's good though.
Not only to have faith. The listing agent will have faith in the buyer's agent that you're working with, and then also from a lender standpoint, a local lender. If you're getting out of state lending or online lending, trust me, just scrap it right now. You're not going to be able to buy a house. You want to see a local lender.
Yeah, local lender. It's been a fun show here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Every weekend, we're going to be here again from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Love FM, anywhere on social media too. Whatever your preferred platform is, you can find us on social media, the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Mike, last thoughts for folks?
We're here to help. It's going to be a little bit of a crazy spring market, but we can move quickly if you want to get in now, kind of before the rush is there. Plug in with us. I actually have 2 applications that I got to go through this morning yet. Get some pre-approval letters out for some agents on the team ready to make an offer. So plug in with us.
Hey, you know what, Jay Philpott, by the way, you know him from the afternoons here at Love 105 FM. Jay, celebrity crush.
Well, it's really funny that you brought this question up today because I probably made my celebrity crush on this very date or shortly thereafter, 55 years ago.
Wow.
Because the show she was on premiered on this date in 1968.
Oh my gosh.
and it was Goldie Hawn on Laugh-In.
Goldie Hawn.
Oh,
And if you remember her bit, they would paint her.
Yes.
She would dance in her bikini, and they would paint all these goofy sayings, little jokes like, up with down pillows or something like
Yeah.
that. And my job with the family when that show was on was to read those comments as fast as I could. I was only 7. So that was quite an accomplishment to be able to read in such a quick moment.
Wow.
Fun.
That's cool.
So she was a big part of my education.
Super fun. Super fun. J. Philpott, thank you. Scott, last thoughts?
Do you know who Goldie Hawn is?
Yes, I do.
No, last thoughts. We've talked about it all the time. Cannot urge you enough. If you are a buyer, first time home buyer, and you're going to get active this spring, get active now. Better deals right now. You can take a breath right now. Time to get involved in it. If you are a seller, please reach out to us, mnrealestateshow.com. We'd love to help you, whether you're buying or selling. It's going to be an aggressive market. You need a team that knows how to kind of, put that number up there for what you need to get.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us today. We're super excited to be here every Sunday morning, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Love FM, the Minnesota Real Estate Show. From all of us today, again, appreciate you tuning in throughout the week, 612-294-6949. We look forward to joining you next Sunday again, back at 8 a.m. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Celebrity crushes. Good topic. See, we got to talk a little bit beforehand, Scott, of what these questions are he's going to throw out. But lots of fun. We appreciate you joining us throughout the hour. We'll be back next weekend. What do you think, Corey?
Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year. Happy birthday to Dad as well, too. We'll see everybody next weekend.
See ya.